Doodly doo 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 doodly doo doo day. Wah 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 wah. Keep that thing. Hey, kia ora, Helen from Secondary Live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling Tune-Up Tuesday. How was your Tune-Up Tuesday? What changes did you make today to help keep you moving forward towards your dreams and goals so that you don't end up with them landing in the place that never was, or the room of lost opportunities, whichever way you want to look at it? It's kind of mind-boggling when you read something like that, like in the Traveler's Gift that I was talking about this morning, about how if you think that if there is a place like that, what's in there that I put in there? What opportunities did I miss? What chances did I not take? That stuff has landed up in that place. You know, how many things did I miss out on because I gave up too early? I went in a different direction. So it's kind of mind-boggling to think. And when you read the description in the book about this place, you know, you look down the aisles on either side of you, you can't see an end to them. You're looking straight ahead down the center aisle. You can't see an end to it. You look up and there's no ceiling above you. I mean, can you just imagine the vastness of a room like that, of a place like that, the place that never was, all your lost dreams and opportunities sitting in there? It's kind of gives you a different perspective on things. Oh, and I did promise this morning that I would look up that book to tell you about one, which is a very interesting. It's a great read. It is an awesome story. But if you don't like the story, the nuts and bolts are on the right-hand page, and the story is on the left-hand page. Or you can either read just the left pages, just the right pages, or both. So it's up to you. The book is called The 1 Minute. Hang on, I got to get this right. The 1 Minute Millionaire: The Enlightened Way to Wealth, and it's by Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen. And I've got the link in the description below if you want to go check that out. It really is an amazing, amazing read. I went through reading basically the right-hand side because I learned through story. I learned through parables. I learned through fables. I learned through stories. But occasionally, if I wasn't sure on something, I could go to the nuts and bolts side of it and read the nuts and bolts portion to try and understand better what they're talking about in the story. So it was good to have that there, because sometimes when I'm reading, even just if I'm reading stories or books or stuff like that, I'm sort of like, I don't kind of get that bit. So you go and look up the terminology that you're doing, you know, but the terminology is right there in the book if you need it. So that's kind of cool to have that there. Very, very interesting way of writing a book, and I absolutely love it. Because if I need nuts and bolts, they're there. If I just want the story, it's there. If I want to combine the two or just use one as a resource for the other, I can do that. So it's a really cool book. It came out in like 2002, I think it was. But I think most of what's in there is still relevant today, a lot of the principles and things. But it makes for a very interesting read. So if you want to check that one out, like I said, the description's in the description. The link is in the description below. So I've had a very good day today. It's a little chilly outside. It was one of our cooler days this week. We only got up to 70 something today. But when I went to take Zephy for a walk, which we just got back from, it was cold out there. It was cold enough that I had to put a sweatshirt on. The sun had gone down. The wind is currently blowing around at 20 to 25 miles an hour. So it's a little breezy out there. I remembered to put my breathe under my nose. I remembered to have my breathe lozenges to suck on while we were walking along. And that made a big difference with helping to breathe, because even though the air quality is better, it's still got a lot of the pollens and allergy stuff floating around in the air. And of course, now you got the wind blowing it all around. I have to tell you a funny story about Zephy last night. She was hilarious. So for some reason, she got upset with me about something. And so she walks over to her treat button and whacks it, and nothing happened. And sometimes she clips it on the edge so it's not on the centerpiece where you need to hit to get the sound. And so she lays down next to it, and she literally goes bang, 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 bang. She's like smashing the button. I'm cracking up laughing. And all of a sudden, and there's no sound coming out because she's hitting it so hard it's not giving enough time for the sound to come out. All of a sudden it goes, eep, and that was it. No more sound. No more sound. And she just looks at it and she whacks it again. Nothing. And so I go over and I pick it up and I'm pressing and I shake it off, press button. The batteries have died. So now I have to replace the batteries in them, but it's sitting up higher where she can't reach it right now. So I'm curious to see what she does if she can't reach it. But I'll put batteries in it in the next couple of days, and then she'll have her treat button back. But it was so funny watching her smash that button. It was hilarious. And I didn't even think at the time to grab the phone and record it. But I might put it back down on the ground tonight and see if she does a repeat so we can capture it on video. But yes, so she kept me highly amused on that. Sorry that the throat's sounding a little cracky right now, but that's all the allergy stuff right now, and the air and everything. It's affecting my vocal cords, so I've got to take very good care of them, or I may not be able to do my lives. Can you imagine me trying to do a live and I got no voice? And that's not built into my self-imposed rules for making my 1,096 days. So I really have to take care of the voice right now. I mean, I'm at 1,086 days. So I actually only have not many to go. Yay, I got 110 days to go. 110 days, and I have reached a 3-year mark. And I'm thinking on day 1,097, I might actually switch to doing these live on YouTube rather than on Facebook. I don't know. I haven't fully decided yet. But I will probably keep doing the lives because I'm 3 years. I mean, I'm kind of in a habit of doing them. But I'll probably switch it to something like doing it directly onto Facebook or something, onto YouTube rather than on Facebook. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But anyway, so keep moving forward. Make those tweaks and changes that you have to so you can keep going after your goals and your dreams and everything else. And I found out, I was talking with a friend the other day and found out that they are actively keeping their eyes and ears open for a place for my log cabin and my barn RV B&B. They're actually keeping their eyes open for it. And I'm so like, wait, what? And they said, yeah, they go out driving and they see some places, and is it by a lake? Yeah. And I said, well, you know the criteria, right? And they're sort of like, run it past me again. I said, the cabin has to face. So when I come out the front door of the cabin onto my beautiful porch, it could even be the back door, depending which way you approach. But the side that faces the lake, where I walk out the door onto my big overextended porch, there is, because I want to be able to sit outside in the rain and not get wet. So I want a porch that's at least 10 to 12. I want a porch 10 to 12 feet deep, so I can sit there and watch storms happening and things like that. And just to be out there in the fresh air when it's raining, I love that. I love sitting on a porch where I'm not getting wet and I can just enjoy the rain, even in thunderstorms. You know, you're out there and you're completely sheltered and you're just watching a storm take place in front of you, and you got there's something super crisp about the air at that time as well. But I said it has to be when the cabin's facing the lake. Directly across from the cabin has to be the mountains in the distance of the lake, so I can watch the sunrise up over them. Then when the sun sets in the evening behind me, it's playing the colors on the tops of the mountains. And they're like, got it. And I said it has to be already cleared. It has to have that clear land. It's got to be a natural clearing where the log cabin goes, because I really don't want to pull down any trees. And then I got to have that little path that goes through into a bigger clearing where I can put the barn and the 6 RV pads. And they're like, okay. Why 6 is, I don't know, just a number that popped into my head and it sounded good, so we're stuck with 6. Who knows? I have no clue why 6 popped into my head for that one. When I was thinking about the number of RV pads. How many RV pads were like? And this number 6 pops into my head. That sounds like a good number. How many rooms am I going to have upstairs in the barn for the B&B? The number 6 appeared again, so I'm having 6 rooms up there, which will be kind of like junior suites. So it's going to be, I got the plans of the rooms done. I'm excited. I got those plans done. Yay. But yeah, so keep moving forward to your dreams. So it's like every day when I sit here and I do my devotion time, I have my phone, which is over there. And I've got the app Calm. And in the app Calm, they have a whole bunch of different sounds that you can listen to. Some is music, some is natural sounds, and they have things like up in Jasper, where you've got the view of the lake there, and you've got the sounds going on around you. And then they have a New Zealand South Island, a tour of the South Island of New Zealand, a tour of the North Island of New Zealand. If you listen to the South Island one, you get some of the same sounds, but also some very different sounds down there because we have different birds and things down there. But the thing that cracked me up when I first heard it is that I'm sitting here doing my thing, and the next thing I hear is, "Mah." I'm like, we got sheep? And I listen again, "Mah." And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's got sheep on it. And I thought, wonder if the North Island has cows, because in New Zealand, the South Island has a lot of sheep and a few cows. And the North Island, we have a lot of cows and few sheep. And so then the next day I remembered to put the North Island one on. And so I'm listening to it and listening to the tui. I love the sound the tui makes. Listening to the tui, and all of a sudden I hear, ooh, and I just stopped and started laughing. Uh, so the North Island sound has the cows on it. The South Island has the sheep. But there's all these other different nature sounds, like the water up on the beach. One of them has a fire crackling down by the beach because you can hear the waves in the background. And the South Island one, they also have the waterfalls, all the beautiful waterfalls we've got down there. You're hearing them going, and then you're hearing the rain coming down through the leaves of the trees and things like that. And it's pretty cool. But I like having the soundscapes on while I'm doing my devotion time, because then it's easy for me to imagine that I am sitting on the front porch, on the porch of my log cabin, looking out at the lake and hearing those nature sounds around me as the world starts to wake up while I'm doing my devotion time. And then I go into my meditation time, and again, having those sounds playing in the background is awesome for that. So, find ways to live in your dream now, like with me with the log cabin, using natural soundscapes to help me to imagine that I'm sitting on the porch of my cabin looking out across the lake at the mountains. If I could show you my desktop, I would, and it's of sitting on a lake, looking across, and the mountains are kind of off to the side because I haven't found one with the mountains directly opposite. But it does have mountains on there, but the mountain's kind of, actually no, the mountain is straight ahead. Yeah, I just move you guys down a second. Yeah, the mountains are straight ahead. So when I'm on my desktop, if I don't have my browser open, I've got my, and it's actually a kind of a turning into autumn picture. So the trees are starting to turn, but I'm looking out across the lake and there's my mountains on the far side. So, and then I put my soundscapes on, and there's times that I would just sit here with everything minimized on my thing just so I can look at that picture, and I'll put the soundscapes on so I can live in the moment of sitting on my porch looking at the lake. Oh, that's what's wrong with the picture. The sun's coming up from this side. Yeah, the mountain's directly across there, and the sun's not coming up over it. The sun's coming from this side over here. So it's not directly up over top of the mountains, but it's close. It's the closest picture I could find to use. So it was actually kind of fun to hear that I have people out there actually actively looking for a place for my for me to have my log cabin and my barn RV B&B. So find a way to actively live in the dream in the moment. So you can take a moment out of your day and you can just sit quietly in that space, and imagine. It's easier for you to imagine yourself, I'm sitting here in my log cabin, I got the, and whatnot, and here's my view, here's the sounds going on around me from nature. Find ways to live in the dream now. And that will help keep everything alive, and remember why you were doing it. And first of all, when I first decided the log cabin, it was all about me. About me, that's where I wanted to live and everything else. Then I read something about, I was on one of the manifestation challenge. Actually, before I did the manifestation challenge in January is when I decided I was going to have the barn, I was going to have the RV pads, I was going to turn the barn into the B&B, I was going to have my offices up there, where my businesses are run from. And so I started thinking about this and what I was going to do. And I started journaling about this in detail. What was going to happen? How would people find me? How often would I be booked out? Would I have retreats there? And what sort of retreats would be held there? And all of this information started flowing out onto paper. Then when I got to doing the manifestation challenge in January, it came to light that when you are after a large goal like that, what purpose does it serve others? How can you use it to serve others? And I was like, oh, well, I've got the B&B where people can come and enjoy the the natural surroundings and that sort of stuff. And I'd already written down about some of the effects people would have. Now I started getting deeper into as to how, well, my log cabin's going to be where I'm going to be living. But if I walk through the trees, I go to the barn and the RV pads are there, and we're always going to be full. And we're going to have lots of different types of retreats there, but it's going to be a place of healing. There's going to be something magical about this place where people want to come because of some sort of healing, some sort of change that needs to occur. It's a life-changing experience to come there, and it's to help them find their dreams and goals that they want to go after. So that's going to be the greater purpose of this place. And since I started doing that, the momentum for it has been going like crazy. I was at a networking event online on Thursday last week, and one of the women on there starts talking about what she's currently building in Virginia. And I was sort of like, okay, what's her? I got to write her name down. I need to contact her because she is building exactly what I want, kind of what I want to build, but hers is on a much larger scale. Mine's just small, intimate. She's doing this this large resort thing, and she was talking about having stores and all of that sort of thing there. So it will be, I want it close to a small town. I'm a small town girl. I'm not much for big cities. If there's a city like an hour or two away, that's not a problem. But I want a town close enough for supplies, or just to be able to go there, and there'll be a couple of restaurants that you can go to, that sort of thing. Just, like the one place I spent the most of my life in growing up was in a town of 6,500 people. So it was kind of cool. And we had a big city about a 30-minute drive beyond that. So that kind of setup would work well for me. Somebody's asked me, does the log cabin have to be in Arizona? No, the log cabin can be anywhere. I got people all over are looking for spots from different states, are looking for different spots and things for me. And will we have Wi-Fi there? Yes. That goes without saying. If I'm going to have my office there, I have to be connected. And one of the ideas I wrote down in there was that we have some some space on our property, on the property that we have, that has the Wi-Fi towers on there, where they rent the Wi-Fi towers, but it's far enough away that it doesn't affect, it's kind of on the edge of the property. I don't know how big my property is. It's the only thing I don't have written down is how big is my property. Oh, my dog's sniffing. You should see her. She's standing by the counter with her nose up in the air, and she's sniffing because I put some steak out to put it to room temperature before I sat down to do this. And so she's standing there sniffing. Hi, sweetie. Come on, you want to come up? Come on. Up. Up. Now, you still got 22 minutes before your treats. You can wait. She can't find her button. But yes, we will have Wi-Fi there, because if I'm going to be running businesses from it, I do need the Wi-Fi for that. So yes, so it'll be Wi-Fi. It will not, it's going to be somewhere in the US. I don't know exactly where. The right place will present itself at the right time. That's the faith I have in that one, is that at the right time we will find the right spot. The perfect spot will appear when it is supposed to appear. So anyway, I'm out of here. I got to go cook my steak for dinner tonight. I didn't do steak last night. I ended up doing a shake because I just didn't feel like cooking. But tonight I actually took the meat out. So it's like the meat's sitting on the counter. I now have to go cook it. See, if you do the prep work in advance, like putting the meat out, you're more inclined to cook it than stick it back in the fridge, which is not a really good practice to have. So anyway, go have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back bright and early tomorrow morning, I hope, for Winning Wednesday. Hey, Konera.